My name is James Williams Jr. The following video is going to be highly offensive for those who are very racially sensitive. And in this video, I'm going to touch on things dealing with Indians. The Native American kind and the Indians from India. Now, why did I just specifically break that down? Because if you watch my other video, you will know. So I'm going to break it down after I drink some of this tea real fast. In my skull cup. Okay, so let's break it down. First off, my name is James Williams Jr. I am the grandson and the great-grandson of a Cherokee women on both sides. My mother's mother is Cherokee and black. She may just be Cherokee, but she was raised by black. That's a long, hard story that we're still trying to work that fucking clusterfuck out. My father's mother is Cherokee. Her mother before her was Cherokee. So I have a lot of Cherokee blood within me. I tried to do a background check. They apparently steal Native American IDs and list them as mulatto because they couldn't figure out what the hell to call them. Therefore. And then both my father's father is black and my mother's father is mixed with black and white. So I am 1000% all-American mutt. Now, if you've been paying attention to my videos, you know that I've done my extensive research and that Native Americans are biologically Asian. Now, the reason why they aren't legally claimed as Asian, the same way that Pacific Islanders are not biologically claimed as Asian, is because before the Great Migration of the Europeans coming into America, they had never made it all the way to China until after Marco Polo. So, 20,000 years before any other civilization set foot on this great land, my ancestors crossed the land bridge, hop, skipped, and jumped and became Native Americans. And they all splintered off from Alaska to where you were Eskimos, and then you come down further, you have First Nations, and then you come down even further, you have the 10,000 conglomerates of Native Americans, and then you go down further to South America where you have the Aztec, the Mayan, the Incan, and the Amazon. All of them are biologically Asian. They're not legally Asian because no one knew anything about China. Christopher Columbus was trying to get to India and wound up coming to America. And he dubbed the Native Americans Indians. Alright. Now, India are the original Indians. They too are Asian. They are not Southeast Asian, but they are still legally and biologically Asian, which is right up the coast from Africa. Now, if we all want to be truthful, according to science, all life began in Africa and migrated up north. And as they migrated up north, skin tones and facial structures all changed. Okay? So, by the time my ancestors became Native Americans, everybody was pretty much established in wars and all this other stuff for breaking out Zulu nations and all that. And so, that's neither here or there. Now let's get down to the guts and glory of this video. Horses versus flying carpets and camels versus feathers. I couldn't resist that. I totally fucked that up. But anyway, the whole point of the matter is I used to go around and tell people that I was Indian. Alright? When I found out that I was part Cherokee and people would ask me, am I some kind of Indian? And I would say yes. I didn't know that it would come back to bite me in the ass by the time I got to college, but people were like, you're some kind of Indian. Are you the ones with the feathers or the one with the dots? And I would jokingly laugh and say, sadly, I'm very afraid of horses, but I'm not the ones with the dots. I'm the ones with the feathers. We use bow and arrows, not flying carpets and scimitars. Okay, so that became a thing. Somewhere between 1993 and graduating high school to the current day, that has become a thing when people say things about Indians. Now, the living proof of that is that I'm in some of these Facebook groups, and Facebook groups, some of them, they don't like Pakistani people, and Pakistani people are Indian. And so they would say insulting things in these Facebook groups to Indians. And I would get a little bit of offense because I wasn't sure if they were talking about my kind or Latin. And I would like call them out. I was like, hold on, hold on. I was like, because they wanted all the Indians with the dots to get the hell out the group. And so I would come in real quick and be like, hey, hold on. What kind of Indians are you talking about, buddy? Because first and foremost, I can't help what my great grandmothers were. You know, both my grandmothers are Cherokee. And it's like, no, we're not talking about the ones with the feathers that ride horses. We're talking about the ones with the dots that ride flying carpets. I was like, okay. So in a collective group of people from all around the world, the only people they don't want in the group are Indians. Even though these Indians probably didn't do anything to them, just the simple fact that they're fucking Indians. Which brings me to one of the points that I'm going to make in this video that's probably going to piss off a lot of people. Okay, I've had a lot of people do shit to me of different races, different ethnicities, of different cultural divides. I do not hate every person of that race because of one asshole in that race. We all have assholes in our races that make the rest of us look bad. If you watch some of my videos, I'll be the first to tell you, since I don't have the right to be a racist, oh, why this one piece of fucking hair. I don't have the right to be a racist, and I'll be the first to tell you there are days where I'm proud to be mixed, and there are days where being mixed has come to an advantage and has come to a disadvantage. When it comes to going for roles, like when they have casting calls and shit, being mixed is a big fat disadvantage because one, no one knows what the hell I am. To some people I look more Native American, to some people I look more black, to some people I don't look neither one of those. A lot of people think that I'm Spanish or Hawaiian or some shit like that, which again has become a big disadvantage for me. Alright? Now, the advantages is simply this. If a black person commits a crime, I'm not black anymore. Right now, I'm full on Cherokee. If a Cherokee commits a crime, like Miss Rainbird a few months back when she drove the SUV, ejected 2 dogs, and smashed that bitch all to hell like a piece of tinfoil, I'm not Cherokee this week. I'm all brother. You know? And the only thing that I can truly say that can never happen is that when both a black person and a Native American does something stupid, I can't be white. There's not enough skin bleaching in the world that's going to make me white. I can be high yellow. I can be mixed. But I can't be white when both blacks and Native Americans fuck up. I just got to suck it up. You know, because I can't lighten up. So, that's that. That was the part that's going to piss everybody off. Just getting that out the way. Now, as you guys know, no matter what I post, I am fair to all races, black, white. I'm fair to all genders. If I post something because somebody did something stupid, it's got nothing to do with their race, because just as many black people and Native Americans fuck up as just as many white people. And just as many other Asians fuck up, and I post that shit. Motherfuckers having sex with students, motherfuckers molesting kids. I post that shit on my Facebook page, and I don't give two bones about it. If you've done wrong, you've done wrong. And for some odd-ass reason, you know, these hot, sexy, single chicks are married and their husbands either don't know how to do their job or not doing their job at all. And these hot, sexy women, for some reason, can't find real men, so they're sleeping with kids. And I've done reports on Asian women, black women, and white women. Now, the majority of them have been white and Asian teachers that are having sex with these kids. There's barely been like maybe 1 or 2 cases of a black woman doing it. But as far as white women and Asian women, there's been 2 Asian women so far that I've done it on, and about 6 white women and maybe 1 black woman. So, and no Mexicans yet. So that should tell you, you know, I'm not judging any of them. I'm just kind of messed up that, you know, as many of us single over 40 guys are out there. If you're a sexy school teacher and you need some dick, don't get it from a 16-year-old, because he's going to tell everybody. He's going to be just like, is it Aerosmith? Is it Van Halen? I got it made, got it made. I popped the teacher. Whoever sings that song That's exactly what's going to happen when you're a teacher and you're sleeping with fucking children. Now, back to the topic at hand. So, feathers or dots? The comment came out once or twice by a couple of animated voiceover actors when someone had asked them about like the Native American followers, and someone had called out and said, "Hey, I'm one of your followers. I'm an Indian," and he said, "I don't want to sound like a racist, but are you the kind with the feathers or the dots?" And just for the record, it's a very pretty young Asian woman that said this, and she talks from Mikasa on Attack on Titans. And, you know, if you follow her around, she's a very lovely woman. She is not a racist by any means necessary, but she didn't want to offend the person, so she asked politely, "Are you an Indian with the feathers or the dots?" And she's not the only one that has come up with this concept of, "Are you the feathers or the dots?" Now, as you guys know, I'm probably the only person of Native American descent that is dreadfully afraid of horses. Let me explain that, because people are always like, "You're part Cherokee. How the fuck are you afraid of horses? Try getting bit by one of them some bitches as a child, and you'll be dreadfully afraid of horses too. Because not only did it bite me, it lifted me up while it was chewing on my fingers. It chewed on my middle finger and my thumb. And I've been afraid of horses ever since. Every time I look, think, or talk about a horse, my middle finger and my thumb feel like they're on fire. And I'm so blessed that I still have my middle finger and my thumb on my left hand." And the funny thing about that is every time I've ever been hurt, it's always been my left hand. It's never been my right hand. It's always been my left hand. And my fingers are tingling right now, so I'm changing the subject. But the whole point of the matter is I'm dreadfully afraid of horses from a childhood trauma. And when I tell people that, and they're like, "But you're part Native American. You shouldn't be afraid of horses." And I tell them, my ancestors was obviously scouts. Okay? There's a throwback for that from Miss Conrad, all right? Because Miss Conrad's the one that made me go deeper into my family history, because I just thought I was black. Found out that I wasn't, but I thought I was black. And when she told us we was Native American, and I had to go through all this research, and I had to carve some canoes out of soap, until this day I still cannot carve a fucking canoe out of soap. But when I bought the boats into school for her, because we had Native American History Week way back in the day when it was only like the first week of February, so that was like maybe 3 or 4 days, depending on where the calendar fell. And then Chinese New Year was like the second week to the end of February. And Black History Month was also like the first week of February to the last day of February. So back when I was a kid, February was a very busy month. But Native Americans only had 1 week. And that bled into Black History Month. But anyway, I told Miss Conrad when I bought those 3 horrible-ass canoes there, because she insisted that I would have the best canoes that she'd ever seen. They were probably the worstest things that ever came across her desk. And she's like, "Wow, that's very interesting." And I said, "Let's face it, Miss Conrad. You were right about my people being Native American, but you were wrong about me being able to carve a damn canoe out of a bar of soap. Plus, you got my ass beat a lot for all the bars of soap that I cut up." I cut up about 30 bars of soap. And I got an ass whipping for all that soap. And I never got a canoe. It looked like anything but a canoe. And Miss Conrad did apologize for me getting my hinds whooped, because she didn't send the paper home so that my mom would know and that my mom would help me, which either way probably would have worked out, because my mom probably couldn't carve her ass out of a wet paper bag either. And I told Miss Conrad when I got back to school that clearly my ancestors that we came from were probably scouts. They were probably not warrior braves, and they damn sure weren't people who could carve anything out of wood. Because these are the best 3 canoes I have, and they look like shit. They didn't look like piles of shit, but they just really didn't look like a canoe. They didn't have the shape of a canoe. They looked like one of those like G.I. Joe rafts. They didn't look like a canoe at all. Like, not even remotely close to a damn canoe. That being said, I knew from then on that whatever I do that involved Native American stuff, it wouldn't involve carving at all. Like, at all. Now, I do have friends that are Indians with the dots. I grew up with a guy named Muhammad, and I grew up with a guy named Robert. Shout out to both of them. And they were normal people. You know, they didn't. I also had a guy named RJ, and I think he wore his turban like one time, and I think everybody gave him some hell about it, so he never wore it again. And you know, I think they used to call him Haji from Johnny Quest. They used to make fun of him all the time. And I sit there and I was like, I never got that whole thing with that because I'm not a racist. And whenever somebody talked about Haji for Johnny Quest, I thought they were literally talking about the character Haji from Johnny Quest, but they were really talking about RJ. So I was like, oh, okay. It took me to graduation to figure it out, so I'm sorry, RJ. I just didn't know. And knowledge is power. So RJ, Robert, and Muhammad are all of Indian descent, which is not Southeast Asian, but Indians from the dots in the flying carpets. And so my dumbass never really took stock in that because I was too busy getting picked on myself to worry about people picking on them. But as a martial artist, you live and you learn. And culture shocks are an amazing thing. They really are. I can't really say that they're bad. I can't really say that they're good, but it just really depends on where you are. So, in another video, I talked about how I was taking Spanish in college, like 95, 96, somewhere back there. Somewhere way back there. So, I'm taking Spanish, and I'm failing the class. I'm failing the class really bad. I know you're thinking, what does this have to do with anything? Just let me get there. So, this has something to do with culture shocks. So the lady's from Spain. She's pale white. I mean, like, she's like as white as my mom, if not whiter. And my mom's not white. She's just like really light skin. She's not this. She's like that. So anyway, so the lady's talking to me and she's speaking to me in Spanish and she swears to God that I'm Mexican. When she's speaking to me in Spanish, I'm like, ma'am, I don't speak Spanish, but you're Mexican. You should know Spanish. And I said, ma'am, I hate to be the one to burst your bubble, but that was a very racist statement. First off, I am mixed. I am part Cherokee Indian. I am part black and I am part white, and you need some culture. And that was a very racist statement. I said, now, at this time, I didn't know that Native Americans went that far. I didn't know that Mexicans were Native American. I was about to learn that like the very next year, though, when I met my friend Mr. Kim. So prior to that, I just thought Native Americans was only in America. I didn't know that they went through Canada and the North Pole and all that shit, because Eskimos are also Native Americans. In fact, we kind of all spawned it from them, so they kind of got that shit a little bit twisted. Anyway, long story short, I told her that I wasn't Mexican and that she was racist and that she needed some culture. And she told me, well, the answers are in the back of the book and you should learn. And the only thing I learned in the whole class was, no habla español muy bien. Translation, I don't speak Spanish very well. I still have not learned Spanish at 46 years old. Learning a foreign language is easier when you are a child because you can absorb it and you can get through. So I'm going to find out how much it costs to learn Chinese at the CLC that we have downtown. I'm going to find that number and call them. But right now, this is a little bit more important. So I'm going to finish this video about Native Americans and Indians from India. So as you all know, it's kind of Columbus's fault that Native Americans are called Indians. Okay? I had to explain to that teacher about that too, because Columbus, who was from Spain, who fucked up and came to America because if his compass was all kinds of fucked up, and he technically didn't really land in America. He landed like on one of the islands leading to America, and he seen natives there, so he automatically called them Indians because he thought he had hit India and he came to get Indian silk, which is kind of fucked up because the best silk came out of China back then, so I don't know where the hell he thought he was going to, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But, so, from that time on, Native Americans were always called Indians. And that has what led to the big time clusterfuck that you're going to have to talk about in the second video, because I've been going at this for like 20 minutes.